You're listening to Dave the IT Guy, coming to you from an undisclosed location. Do not be afraid. Dave is here to help with all of your security and hacking questions and news. We own them now, and we are in control. Sit back, turn it up, and let's get started in 3, 2, 1.
That's right. I am Dave the IT Guy. Tonight, we're going to have a special edition. We're going to talk a little bit about education and what it means in the IT field. I often ask people to shoot me an email or tweet me, some questions about a topic that you'd like to hear more about. And lately, I've got multiple questions regarding education. Hey, Dave, I want to do this or that in IT. How do I even get started? And some of these questions are coming from high school kids. Some of these questions are coming from adults, in their 40s and 50s looking to change their career. So I wanted to take tonight a little bit of opportunity to discuss that topic. But before I do that, I want to say thank you to my sponsors. I have 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I have the Disney Circle and a few others that are on my website at dtig.net. That's Dave the IT Guy, dtig.net. But a quick word from 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Our trucks are on your street right now
and headed your way.
Goodbye, junk.
Hello, relief.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
All right. Again, thank you to my friends at 1-800-GOT-JUNK and Disney Circle. I appreciate your support of the Dave the IT Guy podcast. So let's talk about education and what does it mean? People are often saying, hey, I want to get into that computer field. What do I got to do? And my question always kind of slows them down a little bit by saying, well, what in the IT or computer field do you want to do? And they're like, well, I just want to get in the computer field. And so then I start talking about all the things that are in the computer field, right? You can be a networking person. You can be a programmer. You can be a help desk person. You can be an auditor. You can be on the security side like I am. You can be a help desk person. You can be a hardware break fix person. You can design motherboards and chipsets and things like that. So there are a lot of things that mean I'm in the computer field, and you really kind of have to break it down as to what you want to do. Now, what you want to do really will lead you towards your first steps. If you want to really just kind of get in and you're not sure what you want to do, the quickest and probably easiest path to get into this field is starting off at a help desk. So usually help desk people are kind of entry level, and it's no offense to them, but you do have to start somewhere, and it's a very much needed role. The help desk is usually the first line of assistance for users at a company, or even consumers who buy stuff and then they call in to get help because they can't figure out how to set it up. The help desk folks are the first line to help them. And if they can't help them, then try to escalate that to another level of service provider, like a tier 2, tier 3 person that might have a little bit more experience and can help. So help desk people generally don't need a lot of experience. They need to have a willingness to learn, the aptitude to kind of show, when I'm at home, I've been able to, fix this, or I've built my own computers, this, that, and the other. So they've shown that they have some aptitude for this field, but then they need extra training or just more experience. Usually help desk people last 1 to 3 years in that role, depending on how fast they progress, how much they learn. And then they're able to kind of start seeing the path that they really want, right? You might be on a help desk and you find out, I really want to program video games. I don't really like this kind of stuff. Or, I like that networking. I want to get into networking and down the road security and track down hackers and things like that. Or I like wireless and I want to be able to build big wireless infrastructure, not just for my company, but on a city or metropolitan level. You want to go outside and put wireless access points on the side of a tall building and provide free Wi-Fi for the city. So many things that you can do. Maybe you want to be a programmer. You want to build mobile apps, or maybe you want to build web applications for companies. Maybe you want to be a SQL, a database, or some other, not just SQL, but other database type of manager or developer. So a lot of things, right? Maybe you want to be in leadership. Maybe you want to only do scripting. Maybe there's so many maybes, right? So if you've never been in the field before, the help desk is a great place to kind of get your first exposure. Sometimes you have to try real hard to find a company that's willing to take you. And it's kind of like that whole credit thing, right? I can't get a credit card because I have no credit, and I have no credit because I can't get a credit card, right? IT is kind of the same sometimes. But these days, so many companies are, outsourcing their stuff, and so many companies are looking for web or home-based workers, that a home-based help desk is, a really good way to start. Now, usually the salaries aren't great, right? Depending on your point of view, you're probably in the mid 20s for entry level, maybe lower 20s, but that usually is pretty quick to change. You can usually get, up to the higher mid or upper 20s in a couple of years, and or depending on, again, your aptitude and how fast you can achieve certain things. Now, when it comes to education and or certification, which one's more important? And again, it really depends on your role. A lot of times, if people aren't able to get on the web and find, the free online training resources, and they're able to follow those things so they can learn from home, sometimes those people have to go to, a structured learning environment like a community college or a college or whatever, and take classes. Those take time, right? Sometimes they take a year or two to finish all of those classes to become that programmer or that networking person or whatever. Others can certainly learn from home. So having a degree in some cases really matters. As a help desk person, a degree usually does not matter at first. It's always beneficial on the back end. Certifications, again, depending on the industry that you're in and the focus, that you're in, really matter too. For me, as a security person, I started off with a certified ethical hacker, a certified pen tester, but I have many other certifications as I came up. I start off with the A+, which is the very basic entry-level hardware, software, break-fix certification that many people have. That's where I started. I ended up going towards Microsoft's server certifications called the MCSE, Microsoft Certified Service Engineer or Server Engineer. Although now the E stands for expert, so Microsoft Certified Server Expert or Systems Expert, starting back in 2012. But back when NT4 was the server environment, I started off with my MCSE 4, and I'm currently in MCSE 2012. But I have I have wireless certifications from Ruckus and other industry or other vendors, right? I have the VMware VCA, which is the certified associate, versus the VCP, which is the certified professional. The VCA is the entry level certification for VMware. So I went that route. I got a couple backup certifications so I can be certified with products, certain vendor products. So some of my certifications are vendor specific. Some of them are generic. And then here in October, I'm sitting for my CISSP. So hopefully I will be able to claim that certification in just a couple of months. So what does all that mean? I just went on for 2 or 3 minutes talking about that. What does that mean? Well, it means that it just depends on your path. It depends on the companies that hire you that's in your area and what you want to do in IT. I wanted to kind of be a generalist. I wanted to learn about hardware repair and printers, which, by the way, nobody likes printing repair, but it's a useful skill to learn. I wanted to learn about wireless networking. I wanted to learn about server building and how to, what we call, harden the servers to stop hackers from breaking in. I wanted to understand Active Directory and all the things that go along with how to configure Active Directory to be as secure as you can. I wanted to learn about monitoring and how to monitor the inside of my network and the outside of my network. I wanted to learn about security. So I found a peer, somebody that was in the security field, and I convinced him that, hey, as you get projects, if you would mind sharing with me what the project is and what your plan is to achieve that project. And at the end, what bumps in the road did you come up against? And give me some insight into what it takes to do those things so I can try to determine how adept I might be at doing those things and whether that part of the networking slash computer slash IT field interests me. And I found very quickly that it did interest me. I found that I really liked solving problems, and I really liked putting up something new that might gain the attention of outside people who would want to steal that data, or at least maybe competitors who would want to tear up our stuff remotely. So how would I secure that stuff? And all of that really became interesting to me. So not only did I have to learn about the security side of servers, now I had to start learning about firewalls and the different, Palo Alto and Cisco and SonicWall and Juno and Juniper and all these other firewalls. But then I also had to learn about intrusion detection systems and intrusion prevention systems, IDS/IPS. I had to learn about backup strategies. If your data gets attacked and you get some type of crypto virus or malware on your network, how are you going to recover from that? What does it mean to have backups? But what does it mean to have a backup strategy? Means that you test your backups and you verify that your backups are good, right? So you test the process, then you verify the data. So a lot of different things in the IT field, and you might find yourself at a company that does what we call siloing. So you might find that, okay, if you work for a big company, say Procter & Gamble out of Cincinnati, in their IT department, you might only have one job. Your job is to build servers, period. You don't touch firewalls. You don't touch networking. Your job is, okay, this group needs a new server to perform this task. It is your job to build that server. And they are so big, they might have 100 new servers a week request, and they might have a team of 10 people on the server team. You might be on the security team, and all you do is monitor logs for hack attempts and intrusions, and or even insiders doing things they should not be doing. You might be on a programming team, right? Your job is to build the nice interface for that new website. So maybe Procter & Gamble wants to sell new razor blades. They happen to own Gillette, and they want their new website for their Gillette razor blades to be all flashy and cool looking. And they're going to say, okay, Dave, the IT guy, I need you to go ahead and build this great new website with your awesome programming skills. So get it done, right? So a lot of things. So again, circling back to the topic of education, what does that mean? It really means so much different things to the individual person and or the companies that you might work for. And so it's a benefit to you to go out and do a little bit of research. If you're on the beginning side of your IT path, it'll help you to go out and research what you want to do and what type of companies are in your area that do what you want to do. And maybe reach out to them and say, hey, I'm a driving instructor right now, or I'm a high school student, or I'm a freshman in college, and I'd like to talk about IT, but I'm not sure what part of the technology world I want to be in. Can I come over and shadow somebody, or is there at least a supervisor or a manager of that department that would be willing to talk to me for 10 or 15 minutes and give me some guidance? I mean, clearly that might seem a little weird for some people, but it is absolutely the best way to go with a topic like that. The other options that you could possibly lay out for yourself are online training. There are plenty, and when I say plenty, I mean hundreds, tens of thousands at least. I was going to say hundreds of thousands, but that might be generous. But there are at least tens of thousands of free online training resources to start off any IT career you want. And I'm going to throw one out right now. I'll give them a shout out. Cybrary. It's CYBRARY.IT. Cybrary.it. Great online training. Some of those the people that create their training videos are rock stars in the field of networking and security and servers and programming. I mean, these are people that in other areas of life, people are paying hundreds of dollars per hour to have them visit them and teach them. And here they've created online training videos for, people like us to start learning from. So anyway, before we continue just going on and on and on, let's just suffice it to say that there are many paths at the educational side of this thing. You might really need a college degree to get where you want to go, but it doesn't mean that you need that college degree to start the journey. Start getting experience in the field, start earning a paycheck in the field, and work your way up. Take the time to learn, take the time to find what degree is necessary to achieve the end goals that you have for yourself. Not every IT leader has an IT degree. Some of these people have business degrees or MBAs. Or some people have degrees completely unrelated to the field, but just because they went and got a degree, it somehow proves that they were able to attain a certain amount of respect, or they can show that they put forth the effort necessary to accomplish a goal, in this case, earning a college degree. So whatever you want to do, the opportunities in the IT field are actually pretty endless. If you really want to be in this field, there's a place for you. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about briefly is the different what we call trade shows or seminars, right? There are a lot of those out in the world that are, well, what do we say? Good, some not so good. Maybe I don't want to be too rude about it, but you'll have some industry stuff going on that is really pretty good. And then you'll find some industry stuff that, anyway. So, some of the bigger events, the Black Hat for the security and hacker people, DerbyCon, which is actually coming up this weekend down in Kentucky, is a great event as well. I've never actually been to it, but I've get to see some videos and some other things and read other people's reviews of showing up. And that event seems to be really strong. And a lot of the people that participate at DerbyCon are also big participants in the Black Hat and other events. And a lot of times a presenter at one is the organizer for another, right? So you'll find that with some of these events. What you'll also find, though, at these different events, and DerbyCon especially, is that they set up training. Now, yes, it's not free, so you're going to have to spend a little bit of your money, but you also might be able to find some sort of sponsorship or some scholarship at some of these things, right? And you can go and spend a couple $100 to take a class, but you're being taught hands-on by people that's been doing it. And they're going to skip all the fluff, and they're going to get you right to where you need to be and teach you the things that you really need to know. Or at least if you don't already know them, and maybe the class is a little bit over your head, you're going to see, okay, wow, this is what it takes to do whatever that is. And I need to step up my game. I need to educate myself on some other things so that I will understand what this is all about. But at the very least, it gives you a jumping off point. And, even though you might be in over your head, hey, hold your nose, jump in, and see how well you float. That's one of the best things about the IT field is in some cases, or even in many cases, you can learn on the fly, and you can kind of float with your head just below the surface until you figure it out, and then you get above water, and then you can really take off. So, DerbyCon, Black Hat, man, there's so many. Yeah, anyway, not to beleaguer it. There's a lot of regional stuff too. Different user groups like VMUG, the virtual user group. Other events, they have regional, like in a local city, bigger cities, or even in a more rural area. They'll maybe go to the biggest city in that area and have kind of a regional event. And a lot of times those are just 4 or 5 hours or one full day. Sometimes they're 2. And they're going to be presentations, hour and a half talks by certain people about different topics, and kind of give you a wide range of things to listen to. And during that time, there'll also be companies there that are trying to sell you things, but there's companies sometimes are also recruiting. So you can go, you can hear what these people have to say about what their product or service is, and you might find, hey, that's pretty interesting. I wonder if I can get a job with these guys. And they're going to be right there to talk to on the spot. So you make your own way in this field. Take your opportunities where you can get them, and ask for that leadership. Ask for somebody to mentor you. Ask for that free education. Go seek it out on the web. Take the opportunities given, because there are plenty. The IT field is wide and huge, and it's growing like an angry monster every day with just the volume of stuff that's happening and the people that we need to start stepping in and filling the roles. So don't be afraid. It's here for you. We're here for you. Plenty of people in the IT field are eager to be mentors if somebody just asks them. I think you'll be surprised at how easy it would be to find, somebody that would be willing to help you. No, we're not going to do your work for you so that you can go out and get paid, $100,000 while we're taking all the work and you're taking all the money. But we will show you the path. We will answer your questions, and we will get you there by virtue of some gentle nudging, some slaps in the head, or whatever it takes. So don't be afraid to ask, because you're going to be surprised. This is one of the few fields where the more you ask for, the more yeses that you get, versus a lot of fields it's no, no, no. So don't be afraid. Again, I want to say thank you to my folks over at 1-800-GOT-JUNK for their support of Dave the IT Guy.
Our trucks are on your street right now.
And headed your way.
Goodbye, junk.
Hello, relief.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Thanks again to my 1-800-GOT-JUNK friends. Thanks again to Disney Circle for their sponsorship and support of Dave the IT Guy. Thank you for listening and downloading this podcast and taking the time to grow with me. The more topics that I talk about, the more research I have to go do, and it helps me also continue to grow and learn and stay current. So please feel free to hit me up at Twitter at DTIGCINCY, DTIGCincy. Find me on Facebook. Look me up on any of these apps, any of the broadcasting apps, Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio. I am live on there during the day. If you search Dave the IT Guy, you'll find my podcast, but you'll also find me live on many of the iHeartMedia AM, FM radio stations throughout the continental United States. So look for me there as well during live interviews. Again, thanks for the time. I hope this has been helpful and to at least give you some idea of where you can go. If you do have questions, again, feel free to hit me up via email or Twitter. I am happy to try to give you some guidance or do what I can. I am Dave the IT Guy. I want to say thanks for checking me out, and stay tuned for more.
Okay, so that's it. You've heard what Dave the IT Guy has to say. Hopefully you were inspired to take some action or to continue to learn more on your own. At the very least, we hope you'll tell others about Dave and his podcast and ask them to come check it out. As always, you can download episodes on the iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and Stitcher apps or in iTunes by searching Dave the IT Guy. You can also just visit dtig.net and listen in the on-demand players on the website. Plus, you can read some of his blogs that don't make it to air.